how do you practically go about analyzing your competitors' backlinks? You see that as a strategy that, okay, they say analyze your competitors' backlinks and figure out what they're doing. But actually, when you go about analyzing your competitors' backlinks, you'll see a bunch of sites which seem impossible to get links from. And it's very realistic. You pick any competitor of yours, you'll see sites and you'll wonder, okay, that's not possible for me. It doesn't seem like, it seems very natural. There are smarter ways to go about analyzing your competitors' backlinks. First, step number one, look at the kinds of sites that are linking back to your competitors. So, I mean, when you go through a list of sites that your competitors are getting links from, you might find a trend. So you might find that, okay, they're getting links from certain blogs, and now these blogs are mentioning them for some reason or the other. I would say it might seem natural, but it may not necessarily be natural. So if they're getting links from blog posts, I would say investigate the author behind the blog post. See who's the person who's written that blog post, because I've also written a blog post on this of what you can do using author spying. So sometimes you might notice a trend that, okay, 5 of these blog posts were actually written by just 2 authors who are actually related to the competitor in concern, or they could be working for someone and they've actually built a relationship with that person, and you can build a relationship with that same person to build a link for yourself. So if you're looking at blog links that your competitors have obtained, I say try to either establish a relationship with those blogs or with the bloggers or contributors of that blog post, because that's something that you can do easily. Then usually you will find links where they've been mentioned on resource sites or sites which are listing lists of products and services. So those are platforms that you can easily obtain links from. Then you might see that they're listed in sites where they've sponsored a conference or an event. Now again, those are opportunities that you could keep in mind, but it may not necessarily be the case that you want to sponsor such an event. But you might find that these people might host smaller events in other places, and you could potentially, for a fraction of the amount, try to sponsor the smaller events and gain same amount of link equity. So I mean, when you do competitor backlink analysis, you have to think beyond just why they've got that link. You got to look at who's given the link and why that person potentially gave the link. Now there are many links, and I'll admit it, there are many links where competitors would have got links naturally because of their brand or because of who they are and their market stature, and you cannot do anything to avoid that. Such links, sometimes you've got to accept the fact that till you build a brand big enough, you may not attract such links. So that can be an aspiration for you, that okay, while you're building your brand, you want to keep those influencers in mind, or those people who have linked to your competitors, and try to establish a relationship with them at this stage. You might be small, you might not be perfect fit for these influencers, you might not be a perfect fit for them to mention you right now, but there's no harm in building a relationship right now. There's no harm in trying to follow them, comment valuably on their blog posts, or to follow them on Twitter, or network with them on LinkedIn. And when you have something useful, and when you're always hustling and always trying to build your brand, your service, your product, there will be a time and an opportunity for you to connect with these people, and that's when you got to really leverage the network and the equity that you've built over time through relationships. So a lot of link building is through the relationship building, and that's something that you don't ignore. It's a work in progress, a constant work in progress. So if I had to summarize, when you do competitor backlink research, you're not going to spot opportunities very easily. I'll admit it. If it was easy, then everyone would be beating everyone out there. It's hard, and it's hard for a reason, because the majority of the links are links which are obtained through either great relationships or great content also that your competitors have developed, and you cannot sometimes just overnight beat them. You've got to strategize and make a plan, basically. So number one, look for patterns, look for authors, look for contributors who are consistently mentioning your competitors. Point number two, look for sponsorship opportunities where you can possibly buy your way into getting a link. And number 3, try to build relationships even if those links look improbable for you to obtain at this point of time.